think I'm like an hour away from Birmingham, about half an hour from Notts.
An hour is a safe distance. Like you're fine. You're fine an hour away. Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
How are you finding the new place?
Yeah, it's good. I'm like not used to DIY and that, but
any crossover skills from the music to the DIY?
No, absolutely zero. First time I used to drill was on like this IKEA TV stand we got, and I put the handles on like wonky, so
oh no,
bad start.
I managed to, when I moved flat, I managed to entirely disassemble and reassemble my IKEA desk that the laptop is currently sat on, and I have no idea how I did that.
That's impressive.
I know. I think they designed them so that once you put them together, they're just ready to you can't pull them apart without like a lot of swearing. And actually, I didn't swear once in the whole process, which I thought was pretty impressive.
You. Don't believe you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I swear in every other sentence. I will try my best not to, but
is this why you stick with the guitar videos without the commentary? Just like
I'm not allowed to do vocals.
Do you find when you're tracking your videos that there'll be like this sort of play, fuck, shit, play again? Or is it?
It's more of an internal scream.
I know that feeling even without the camera on.
Yeah, like, it's a struggle at best.
Yeah, no, it's I kind of because I do a bit of Twitch streaming as well, so like the internal scream has to it doesn't have to stay internal. I guess it's funnier if I just start getting out. But I'm astounded that people are willing to watch me play and mess up the same riff like 200 times in a row.
That's the thing though. It's just nice to see, like, because Instagram's such, and any social media is like, you get the best bits that have been curated, like specifically. It's like walking into an art museum, but sometimes people want to see like the more human side of the artist, where they're like, they want to see the hours that go into the piece before it hangs up on a wall. Right. That was a bit of a stretch of an analogy.
No, it's true. I think it's true. I think you know, what was I going to say? Yeah, I was chatting to Simon Dobson, who did the composition for Architect's latest, what they're about to release, you know, they're Live from Abbey Road, and then he did the Alter Bridge at the Albert Hall and all that. And he was, and I was saying about how Twitch, you know, something what he does, composing a whole like symphony. I'd sit and watch that. You know, I'd love to watch that happen. So, but what do you make of that? Is it difficult to keep up with that whole, like, you know, there is a level of it has to be this good to be online. Is it difficult to keep up with that?
Yeah, it can be. I've recently, because I've been moving house like through December and January, I've kind of like forced myself to have a bit of a break while still like doing bits here and there that I had anyway, like videos that I'd already done. But I think I'm trying to like reevaluate my this is counseling now. This is just counseling.
It's all right.
My relationship with Instagram. There you go. Yeah. To not have this kind of toxic, like where you have to post every day or post every 2 days.
It's not sustainable.
No, even for me, and I'm quite stubborn but determined. So if I want to do something, I will do it to almost a detriment. So like when I said in 2017, which feels like ages ago, I'm going to post to Instagram every day and see what happens. But when you take that to the extreme, I'm just thinking of the hundreds of fucking videos, and there's only so many photos you can take of a guitar before you like, fucking hell, you like hold the camera and you're like,
what angle can I go for this time?
Yeah. But I'm trying to kind of do more, like my latest couple of videos have just been me like dicking about a bit, like just playing, and
it's cool watching it.
Yeah, and like the camera's right there, and now that I do have this permanent setup, like it doesn't look like there's much of a background, but if we flip it around, then like it's all good to go and film. So I literally just need to spin the chair around, and so it's been nice to not have to write a perfectly mastered 50-second demo tune for every single video that I want to do. They have their places, but I think it's nice, like I'm saying, just to take it down a notch and let people see, like, a bit of cool guitar playing. It's not super polished, but I think it's more of a human thing. And then all that super polished stuff can be done through releasing music, in my opinion. So I think like Instagram has its place as like a more of like a behind the scenes like look into what I'm working on as a musician. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what Instagram started as like it was a more photography kind of thing, wasn't it? And then it went on to be this kind of whole. It's like Facebook, alternate
Reels.
reality Facebook. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Like as a band, we're always talking about like, oh, we need to get on doing reels and stuff. It's like, what? I don't want to get bogged down by having to produce, like content. Like what is content? What is, I for me it's just about writing the music, and I do worry that like I'm going to end up bogging myself down with putting out stuff just kind of for the sake of it. But you've got some really cool stuff from what you've done though. I mean, like the whole Jam Track Central thing's wicked. Putting out a couple of those masterclasses, and see, I'm steering it somewhere relevant. Can do that.
You're doing well. I am. My mission is to fully derail this conversation at every step. So you're doing
you
well.
Don't know, you don't know how derailed it might have been by other people in previous podcasts. So
that's true.
Yeah, go ahead, derail away. But yeah, no, that I was going to say, because it kind of ties in. But how do you find balancing like a guitar based job with then come home and play guitar? How do you? Are you in two different frames of mind, or frames of mind?
There's two frames and two minds, and
yeah, two different frames of mind. It would have to be.
Yeah,
I'd say it's early, but it's 11:30. That's really not early.
No, don't worry about it. It's not too bad, because my job at JTC is mostly editing videos, which was like a bit of a transferable skill because I'd been editing my own videos for the longest time. So now it's just, my job is like when people send stuff in, like, I don't know, take anyone like Martin Miller, for example. He'll send a bunch of videos in, and we'll be the ones that kind of, okay, so right, he's got this many videos shredding, so this can go here, and we kind of arranged it and kind of make a masterclass out of it. And then I'm the one who kind of edits it all together and puts it together as like a coherent package. And then we, pop it on the store, and then fingers crossed, people.
Put my Mac on charge. It's dying.
Oh, don't worry.
Oops. I have my phone, because I've got my little notes on my phone, and then it does this when I put it on charge. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah. It's
camera. I spent about 700 quid on this camera, and it just hates cooperating with my PC.
Yeah, don't worry.
I feel like it definitely needs leveling up quality wise. But anyway, sorry. Carry on.
No. It's
so
all
speaking
good.
Of derailing,
it's all good. So yeah, that's because I work from home in this office. It kind of goes through the motions of like in the morning till like the afternoon, I'm doing JTC stuff, and then from the afternoon until evening, I'm doing my bits, whatever I need to do. And sometimes I'm busier with my bits than others. Like I might have, it's the nature of the beast when you're kind of doing your own thing. You'll have like nothing for a couple of months, but I've had in like the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I've had about 4 or 5 project requests come through to like do stuff. So it goes from like, having nothing on the cards, which is fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, to like, fucking hell, like these 5 companies want 5 things in 2 weeks. So you go from like working on your own stuff to like all of a sudden doing bits for companies, which is it's part of the parcel, I think, of this kind of work that I'm in, where I have this steady job with JTC, which is still really cool because I'm doing a lot of backing tracks and stuff at the moment to help out other guitarists, which is nice. And so it means I get to still be creative at a job, which not a lot of people get to say they can be. So it's nice to at least be able to, come here and sit down and be like, right, well, Monday morning, like, gonna have to write like a metal track. So that's cool for me. I'm happy doing that. Or I have to write a jazz backing or like a funk backing. It kind of gets me out of my comfort zone, but then the foundation is like the video editing, which is nice because it's like you're saying, it's not 18 hours of guitar playing a day, because that would get like a bit intense for me. So it's nice to have like a little bit of a balance in my like work day, I think. And with like the master classes myself, yeah, I don't know how many people know, but like I work for JTC as staff because I put together all the packs for all the guitarists. But I am also an artist for JTC, so it's like a fun.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing, like where it'd be like, okay, so I need to send in my masterclass videos, and then I'm the one who ends up editing it all anyway. So it's like a fun little, you know, we joke around about it. So, but yeah, like the latest masterclass I did really well. So that was a nice surprise. So I'm hoping to do another one soon. But like I say, it's finding the time like to get through all of these like little projects, because there's so many products and gear that are always, you know, coming out constantly. And we're in such a day and age where like social media is basically the entire marketing budget for a lot of these online companies.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to approach people like me and bigger than me and a lot bigger to kind of market their product for them. But it's a nice kind of, you know, balance of they get something because they get a cool video out of it, and me messing around on guitar, and I get something out of it because I get to be creative with a cool product. But yeah, have you done much of like that kind of stuff for companies, like, or have you done demo things because you've liked a product before?
Yeah, like a little bit. I mean, so I've not done any direct work. I've only been an artist with a couple of companies like for not that long. And we're a bit quiet on the band front at the moment as we're just putting some more music together. But I think once we get another EP together, so I'm an artist with Victory and with Bare Knuckle. You're an artist with Bare Knuckle.
Not an artist. It's just
friendly relationship.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nolly just messaged us one day about his signature pickups, and he was like, "Do you want to do a song?" Or
yeah. That's really cool. Yeah.
But how did you kind of like get to? Because I've never played a Victory amp, so like, how did you kind of discover them? Was it like online or?
It was I was with one of my friends had one, and when I was recording our first EP, I had a PRS Archon, which is a really, really beastly amp. And I paired it with a Victory amp for the first EP, and then there was like, so that was left and right, and then there was like a tone that our producer calls shit grit, that he won't tell me what it is, that goes in the middle. And I really liked the Victory. I thought it had a really cool, like, there's something about nowadays, the tone that everyone's chasing is like, what's just the biggest, just like the most thing. What's just the fattest metal tone. It's like the tones I like the most are like, I love Wes Hauck's tone, because he's like, it sounds big, but it's got its own thing. It's not just trying to be like the most dominating sound. It's trying to be like, it's got its own little peaks and stuff. You know, if you to be really technical, there's probably little EQ peaks and stuff where you wouldn't see them on like your standard, just like I don't want to name any names because I can't. They would just be my go-to. I mean, I suppose the go-to would be like a dual rectifier 20 years, you know, like in the sort of new metal sound. It would be, I feel like people are trying to do the sort of the 2021 or 22 version of that now. And I like that fact that the Victory is quite a big sound, but you have to fight it a bit, but in the right way. Like you have to, it attacks in the right way. I find it works really well live. It really cuts through nicely. So yeah, I ended up I played it then, and then I got in contact with them. I just sent them a nice email, and they were like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you on board." And it was the same chatting with Tim. I just sent him a message and said that like doing all this with the band, sent over an EPK, and he was like, "Yeah, cool, let's work together." So I still need to get a load more and a few more guitars. So I'm kind of undecided. There are a lot that I like, so I'm kind of, it's option paralysis a little bit. I almost need to be just given one that's just like, have this one. Like, yeah, cool, that'll be it. I'm a bit like that with that kind of stuff with gear and that. I'm not a gearhead. I don't know about you, because you've got how many guitars? If that starts with then you know.
So I have at the moment, I think I've got 12 Strandbergs, but the deal is like I only own 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I bought my first in 2016 or 2015, I think 2015, and then I bought my second in 2017, and then I got my third after doing quite a lot of work for Strandberg around 2019. And the rest of them, like even the Prog with the bare knuckles in it, they're technically just like demo guitars, but because I've got like such a cool relationship with Strandberg, it kind of, the guitars make more sense to be with me than in the factory or in the office. Not gathering dust, but like I think they realize that, like I was saying just before, like there's a lot of value to be gained from someone who's actively like demonstrating like in different situations how cool these guitars
Different
can
situations, like just, you know, in the woods,
be.
in a factory.
yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah, so that's kind of the deal with Strandberg, and like they're amazing. So I'm always gonna say yes to helping out demo a new guitar or something like that, or because I think people do get this impression that like, I don't know how to phrase it, but they see like all of the Strandbergs and like, fuck me, like, you know, he must be well off or something. And I'm not really. Like, I've just developed a really cozy relationship with a cool brand that I really believe in, and they seem to believe in me. Don't know why, but so it's nice, like a two-way street really. They get something out of me posting videos, and I get something out of them sending me gear to, you know, make the videos with. So that's how that whole thing works. And well, I can't say much about it yet, but I don't know how much I can say. I don't usually do
this one. So for context, this won't be out for at the very least, like 3 or 4 weeks, 5-6 weeks, depends on, because I'm going to do a weekly schedule. So
check the calendar. I might be able to say something.
I can just make sure this doesn't go out before you.
Well, essentially,
I can hold on to this.
Sooner rather than later. It will be soon.
Yeah.
In the next month or so, we might be doing a competition, me and Strandberg.
Nice. Yes.
And the prize might be one of my Strandbergs.
Ooh.
So that would be cool.
Nice.
And it'd be nice to kind of give back to the community in a cool way, rather than just win this Strandberg. That, you know, it'd be nice. I thought it'd be a cool idea for someone to be able to win one of mine. Again, it's not one of the ones I own, but it's one of the ones that I've played for like 2 or 3 years, and you know, one of the ones that it couldn't really be sold anymore as a new guitar because I've messed it up. So it's got the
I know that feeling.
Connor Kaminski stamp of approval, where it's got loads of dings and bangs.
I'm just going to have to show you the Joe Rowley stamp of approval.
Yeah, go for it.
It's pretty fucking terrible. It's it's got Mark Tremonti's signature, but I don't know if you can see the zooms up that.
Hey,
there.
It's
and yeah, hang on. This was a little coaster thingy. Oh, you can't really see. Oh yeah, you can.
Oh
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it hurts at the time, but it kind of
character.
Yeah. That's exactly right. It kind of adds character to your instrument. It makes it different from everyone else's, aside from like the top wood grain and being different. But it kind of you go on a journey, don't you? Like, even so much as like the first Strandberg I've got, the neck was like, I don't know if you've ever played a Strandberg, but like the necks are like super satin.
Yeah.
But this one that I've got, it's kind of like basically the whole neck is like gloss now, but it's not a bad way, like not bad kind of sticky. It's just, and like the actual fretboard is like starting to show like where you play it most, and it just adds like a whole different vibe to it once it's kind of settled in, like after a few years. But yeah, like that competition should be cool. I'm gonna I have written a backing track for it, so the plan is to kind of have me do like a shit little solo over it, and then people can do much better playing over it, and then we'll pick the best. whoever you know plays the right notes in the right order gets the guitar. And
nice one.
Yeah, so that's kind of the next big thing that I think I'll be doing. I just need to.
It's cool, man. It's nice to give back. I think the community, the whole there's pros and cons to the Instagram community. I think we've
Yeah.
already kind of gone over the cons of just having to like maintain that constant. It's hard to be part of the community if you don't put stuff out really, on a fairly consistent basis. But it's quite a cool collection of people that have come together and obviously very like-minded. So I think there are benefits to it. Like I said, I think we need to go somewhat in the direction of being sort of showing real life, the real life sort of experience rather than just the perfection side of things every time. But that said, your Instagram looks really cool. I was scrolling through it just for like information and things to talk about. It's like, wow, this looks really nice. Because you're big on your photography, right?
Yeah. So the whole photography, videography thing kind of just came about as a necessity because I wanted my videos to look good and I wanted to take good photos and I didn't understand how. So for my 21st birthday, I'm 25 now. I know I don't look it, but for my 21st birthday, I got a Canon 700D and I didn't really know anything about it. But the way I like to go about things is if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 100% to the best of my ability. So I was literally watching like every video about photography, the mechanics of photography, how it all works, or all that kind of, all the business and all that stuff, and like how the Canon works, how that stuff works. So I really jumped into it head first, and kind of like if you kind of scroll down my feed, you'll probably see like as I've gotten better, hopefully, you'll see like like the colors will change, or like I went through a phase where like I really liked my skin tones to just be pink for no reason. And then there was like another phase where everything was like fake tan orange. It's just like, yeah,
I'm
like
gonna have a look now you said that.
you're gonna have to go far down. But yeah, I started with like that Canon and eventually like I moved on to getting that camera back there, which is a Fuji. And yeah, I've taken a really good interest in it, and I've since got into film photography, which is like, I know it's going the wrong way in terms of technology, but I think
it's something to be said for it though.
Yeah, definitely. Like film photography it's like completely separate from guitar. I don't take pictures of guitars with my film camera because my God, film is expensive. And you only get 36 shots per roll of film, and per roll of film, you're talking £15. So yeah, but it's really cool because it means you get to go out. Like I like doing street photography. See, now I've fully derailed this, and there's no going back.
It doesn't have to be. It's about whatever you want it to be about. That's the whole point.
So I like to go. I've got a mate that we do street photography with, and we just walk around and like take pictures of people getting about on their day and cool things that we see. Like we did it in Manchester a few times, and I tried it in London. I'll probably give it another go in London.
Come to Birmingham, see how long you can hold onto your camera for.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone wants a 1970 Canon, but we'll see. Yeah, but I've been to Birmingham a few times. It's very big and very grey.
It's both of those things. Well, because it was a guitar show that I bumped into you. I'll say the first time. Actually, the only time I bumped into you was the guitar show. That's Birmingham. Although that's not quite in the centre. That's a little way. It's a little way out. So
I remember going to that. That was before COVID kind of kicked off.
It was like a couple months before.
Yeah,
was it 6 weeks before? It's on this year though. Will you be there this year?
Fuck, I didn't know.
I think it's on like in sort of April, May. I don't know. I plan to be there anyway.
Maybe. I didn't even think. I just kind of assumed like none of that shit was on anymore, and I don't know why, because NAMM's not been on for a little bit, or has it? I don't really know.
I don't know. I'm not up to date. I'd love to go to NAMM. I really want to go to LA, full stop, but NAMM would be, if I could tie it in with a trip to NAMM, that would be awesome.
I don't even know if like, can you see a world where like NAMM exists as it used to? Because I don't even know how necessary it is, or how necessary it was in the first place. I think it was just a great excuse for a lot of people to meet up in a cool place.
I think that's kind of what it is, yeah.
Yeah, but for the companies themselves, like you're talking a couple grand, if not more, if not 5 figures of money to rent the space just in the hall. when COVID's come around, you can kind of just build the same thing you would have had to pay for in like your office space that you've got for the company, and just do it online, like do it via live stream and announce your products that way. And all of a sudden, that's what I've seen Strandberg do. They've been announcing products online and they do everything in-house. So I don't know if we'll ever see NAMM as it was.
I think it's quite. I like the idea behind. I've never been, so I don't really know.
No, I've never been, but yeah,
I know Tom Pankhurst has been, hasn't he?
Yeah, Tom's been.
I'll have to ask him about it because that's a cool. I feel like it's just UK Guitar Show times like 20, probably.
Yeah. I think it's a very big scale, and I think just everyone is there. But I think it's probably quite an intense couple of days.
Yeah, it depends. Intense. Yeah, I suppose it depends what you're doing. If you've got a company there, yes. If you're just going around, it's probably still intense just to get to all the places. I think I'd be too busy just staring like, oh, that's that guy. Oh, that's that guy. Like the whole time.
Yeah.
I think it'd be, I just end up pissing off everyone. Just be like, oh, like I commented on one of your things once. And like, I don't know who you are. Yeah. That would be my whole NAMM pretty much. But yeah, I do. That's a big bucket list. I want to go to LA. I want to go to Norman's Rare Guitars. That's another one I want to go to. But I think I'd make a dick of myself because I just end up like, so this 60 Strat, can I put it in drop D? Is that all right? It would kind of be wasted on my my stupid new metal playing. But yeah, that's a big bucket list. But have you been tempted to? Because I think I heard you mention it. It was either when if we've just spoken or if it was on Instagram or something. Have you thought about like taking your music on the road or playing it live? And is that like a goal longer term? Do you want to take the music live or do you prefer doing what you're doing at the moment?
Eventually I would love to. I really would. I think the plan for me this year is to kind of release. I have like a song that I have got written that I've had for a while. So the first thing to do is to release that. I want to write another EP, but I'm not sure if it's the best thing to do. I don't even know because I want to write more music, but I think an album for someone like me is probably wasted because I just don't know if people would listen to a full album of fucking guitar stuff.
I don't know. There's a lot of them out there.
I know there is. I know, but even I don't really listen to full albums of guitar stuff anymore. So I'm not sure if I have confidence in it to do it myself.
I think the question is, what are you trying to achieve from it? You know, like you, if you get if you want to get a press campaign behind it, you'd probably want to put out like at least an EP or an album. But if you want to, you've got your own following. You know, I don't know if you need to do an album. You could just keep doing singles and just keep doing what, you know. Just keep putting it would be going about the sort of, you know, the content side of things, you know, by putting out stuff so regularly, but it might make sense to.
Yeah, I thought at the end of the last year, I thought about doing stuff like that rather than here's 5 songs all at once and then people only really listen to 2 or 1, like the best one. Whereas if you do singles, every single song gets its own like 15 minutes of fame, if you can say that. And then every single song from more of a business side of it, every single song can be submitted to like Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's changed since I've last uploaded music to Spotify through a is it an aggregator or whatever you call it? I use
distributor.
Yeah. But like only one song off every release could be submitted to Spotify playlists for consideration.
Yeah,
but if you do it as if you do like 5 singles and then bundle it together as an EP, every single song you can submit to Spotify playlists. So you get 5 chances of getting a lot more, you know, plays and listens as opposed to just send your best song and hope for the best. Oh, right, okay, didn't get on the playlist. Now I've got 5 songs with like 300 listens each. So I might go about like the singles way. The only thing that I don't really like too much about doing singles is I'm a bit particular about how things sound because I mix and everything myself. If I do singles, I'd really want them to have like a consistency in their like sound, because in my opinion, if you were to put a group of songs on an album or an EP, then there's a few things that should be quite consistent, and that's like the drum sound. If you ask me, it's like, because if the drums sound different from track to track to track, it kind of breaks the illusion that they're fake. Well, no, it breaks the illusion that they're real, because in reality, what will have happened in the studio is you'll have gone and tracked drums, and that's the drum sound. You can kind of manipulate it to a certain degree, but the room mics have a character, the close mic's going to have that same character, the snare is going to be tuned the same, and it's going to be the same drums. But we're in this day and age of where like you can literally boot up like 12 different kits in 20 minutes and they literally like sound better than real drums, because doing real drums is a mighty task. So because this song I've been sat on has real drums, I don't think I'm going to get that many opportunities to do real drums going forward. So I'm like, the drums are going to sound different. So I'm being very like pedantic about it, really, because I'm like, can they go on the same EP in the future if the drums sound different? I don't know, probably.
I would personally, the way I wouldn't put them maybe on an EP, but I'd certainly release it as a single. I wouldn't let that stop you from releasing the single, I personally. But I get what you're saying with the EP. Like for our EP, we recorded a couple of songs and we did 4 more together. And we changed quite a lot sound wise. So the producer had, like you said, a mighty task, but this time of trying to match them all up in the mastering process and the mixing. To be fair, he had to go back to the mix of the older songs we'd done and change some stuff there to balance it out, because we use slightly different amp sounds and same kit, to be fair, but like obviously he will have played it slightly differently in one batch versus another. You know, like trying to match that stuff up is difficult, and trying to it's so difficult being a business person and a musician. You're having to think about all these things. You kind of just want to go, can I just play it and just that's it. And someone, I think in my head I had this, I can't remember, I think I was, who was I chatting to? I can't remember who it was, where I was saying that actually a little bit of me would love to hear it if this one almighty producer just produced all the music in the world, because then it would all be on a level, you know, like it would all not sound the same, but like it would all, I don't know how to put it, you almost wouldn't get the advantage of working with a different producer. You just get the truest form of the music. And it'd be really interesting to hear how everyone would sound if we all had the same, you know, and so many like beginner bands, you know, that just don't work with the right producers like that. I know so many big bands that are like half decent, but they just don't work with professional producers. And it's like, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot from day dot. Although your production is production something a bit like photography that you've put the time into, because it sounds like you've kind of, it certainly sounds a lot more pro than mine.
I just because I've never had anyone to kind of, because I don't know how to best say it, but because I grew up in an area where like I was the only person in my high school who even had heard of Dream Theater, so I didn't have anyone to kind of bounce ideas off. I didn't have any bandmates. I've always been like a bedroom guitarist in the truest form. Like I'd literally just play for like 6 hours a day in my bedroom, because I didn't have any bandmates to go and practice with. And then like eventually I met a few more people at college, but I've never, because I've gotten so used to doing everything myself for all of like my college work and then my uni work, I've just kind of spent probably about 6 or 7 years kind of doing things in a similar fashion to probably the best comparison I can think of is someone like David Maxim Michik, who kind of, he does everything himself, even the masters, where he is like the artist, the producer, and he mixes it and everything. So I'm not saying I'm on the same level as him. I'm just saying.
Well, it's like Will Putney does that, doesn't he? He writes a lot of the music, then he produces all of it. I've forgotten the name, from Tesseract, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it is now that does their production, I think. And again, obviously writes and plays and that. So it's not impossible. So
no,
credit to them.
It's definitely like a weird way to go about it, because you're like so independent. Like, where I have everything I need in this room, but just to kind of like full circle what you're asking before, like when it comes to playing stuff live, it's like I don't even know that many people to like ask to come and play stuff live, like, because I'm so used to doing everything myself, and I have these crazy songs with like all these different instruments and parts and pieces and moving parts and all this stuff. It's kind of like, right, do I need a keyboard player? Do I run
backing
that?
track, or do I have a player, or do I?
Yeah. Do I need a second guitarist?
I'll hop on second guitars if you want it.
Yeah.
I'll
Only
do
if
it,
it's
if you trust me.
drop. I think I've got a song in drop D. I'll have a look.
I really have shot myself in the foot. I can do more than drop D. Drop C.
Drop C. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the limit of my abilities, I'm afraid. There you go. And I won't fit in. You'll have to lend me a Strandberg, otherwise I'll look out of place in my PRS. I do like, actually, what I was going to say when you were talking about Strandbergs, there's very few. So that PRS I've got, there's something about it. It's just like, it's just the best guitar I've played. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because when I picked it up, it was awesome anyway. But because I developed so much on it, I think it's just like my home for, like, just for playing. It's kind of, it's what I've developed on the most. Like, I didn't learn on it, but I've become a better player and a writer and everything on it. So I'm used to it. But there's been about 3 guitars I've picked up and thought like, ooh, if I, in an alternate reality, they might have been my go-tos. And one was a Strandberg, but I'm yet to find one as good as that one. I'm not saying I'm not sort of shitting on the consistency in that. I think it was just, there was one particular one I really gelled with. And the strings were basically on the fretboard, but there was no buzz at all. It just, when you pick up a guitar and you're just like 10-15% better straight away.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. And the other one was a Friedman guitar. I don't know if you played any of them.
No.
The pickups are amazing, and it just worked. Like, I don't know. Another was a Les Paul. It just felt really nice. Can't remember what. I know a lot of people, especially modern guitarists, don't really like them, but I think they're great. And the other one was what was it? There was one more. I'd keep these in my mind. I think it might have been a Fender, just a Fender Strat, like a Pro, one of the sort of $3,500 kind of ones,
Yeah.
Had this really nice relic where it was like a 3-way. So not through, it was a relic. It's not a 3-way, threesome relic. No, it was like it was a 3-tone. That's better. 3-tone kind of relic. It was like Sunburst relicked away to like a blue, like a racing blue gloss kind of thing, and then to the wood, and it looked incredible and it played amazing. But I think it was about $3,000-4,500, like silly money.
Yeah, silly money.
Do you think you'll anytime soon be buying like a Les Paul or a Strat or a Telly?
Probably.
The laugh says it all.
Probably not.
Don't blame me. It's fair enough.
I will happily appreciate them, because I've played a few, and I've played a couple Gibsons that are nice, and I've played a few Strats and a few Tellys that are really nice. And I played at the Birmingham Guitar Show. I played a really good Chapman guitar that had like a Floyd Rose on it.
Cool.
And because I'm used to the Strandberg floating trem, it I'd not really played a Floyd trem in a while, and I like to do a lot of shit on the whammy bar, so I thought I'd have a go. And it was just one of them guitars. I think it was like 400 quid.
Yeah.
It was just one of the like the Super Strat styles. I forgot, ML1.
I think that's it. Yeah.
And it just had like a satin neck, satin finish, which is me. I don't dick
about I like
gloss.
the gloss. I like gloss.
As far as I'll go is a gloss body.
No, I like it. Well, yeah, I can agree on that, to be fair. Gloss body, but then a satin neck is like a nice balance.
Definitely. Yeah. Like I tried one of the new Music Man Majesties, and that was gloss everywhere. And I was like, oh, John, my friend, what you doing? Like, he plays like John is my fucking hero. Like, Petrucci will always be my absolute hero, but I just can't. It feels okay, but Music Man have always been known, in my opinion, for like how nice the satin necks finishes have been, and then to have a gloss neck on such a like high quality guitar for like such a mad musician who's so good, don't know. Maybe it's just me that thought the gloss was weird, but yeah.
Just tell John. Just tell him to
I'll
change
give
his
him a
ways.
call. You know what? I'm gonna have to ring him and tell
Have
him
you
what.
have you spoken to him much, or have you had any contact at all from just like the Instagram world? Or
No, I'd
Ah.
love to. He's
he must have seen your stuff like floating around.
I think the only time I think I'd covered one of the Dream Theater unisons, and I think he liked it, and that was it. I think that was but that was enough. That's
Yeah.
I can die now. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had any like famous. If Mark Tremonti ever likes any of my stuff,
the worst thing I realized like about half a year ago, and I don't know if you've ever done this, but I was just scrolling, and then I saw that Joe Satriani had liked like 2 of my posts, and I was like, oh sick, and I went on his profile. I was like, oh fuck, I don't even follow him. Whoops. Just like one of them. I never thought to, because I like Satriani. I've never really been mega into him, but I respect him without a doubt. He's a monster player. So I followed him, and then I realized he actually was already following me, and I was like, oh no, shit. I felt really bad. Felt really, really bad. So that was
I've never had that.
That was like that was the worst. I was like, oh no. But
all that time you could have been pals.
I know. Never mind.
Matt Heafy follows us on Instagram. That's the sort of
You're
closest.
doing something right then. You're doing something right.
Yeah, I think Matt. Who else? I don't know if we have any big followers on other than Matt on our Instagram on the band. It's on the band one. It's not on my one. I guess the guys from Malevolence. It's good we played a gig with Malevolence and Tesseract and Silosis.
Oh, nice.
And so some of them sort of followed us, and then it was part of the Trivium album launch thing. So and Matt followed us. I was like, oh god, that's amazing. Nice. Unfortunately, Trivium didn't follow us, but Trivium follow the 4 members of Trivium, and that's it. So I would feel a little bit,
That's an exclusive club, that is.
But yeah, there was one more thing. I had one more thing written down. Where was it? Oh yeah, so you're writing. We talked about writing. What's your like writing process? Do you just sit down and jam, or do you go, oh, I want to write this kind of song, or what? How does it kind of unfold?
Generally it starts on the guitar, but
good place to start.
Yeah, usually it's a very, very primitive idea. It might just be I'm trying to think of the latest song I wrote. Yeah, so the latest song I wrote was to help Bare Knuckles pick up launch for Nolly.
Yeah.
And the first 5 notes of the riff are like this little motif that kind of cycles around. And that was just the first thing that I'd written. And I just came up with that little motif, and I was playing it over and over. And then once I have that like idea, I like to kind of get straight into Logic or whatever DAW you might have. But I like to get bass and drums, and I could, whenever I'm writing, I usually hear a groove in my head already, like when I'm writing a riff or something. But I like to get it programmed, and then I start adding instruments quite quickly, and that none of them stay in place for too long, but it's just to kind of explore like textural ideas and how the riff can kind of change groove and like change snare placements. And then I just kind of go about it like section by section. Like if I've had like a really fat riff as the intro, I usually kind of like to tone it down for a verse and have like a melody come through. But I've always been a fan of trying to have music that is cool and interesting in a proggy sense, but also like has more memorable melodies than some of the prog that I've listened to in the past.
I know exactly what you're trying to go for. Yeah, it's really tricky to do.
It definitely is, and that's why I've always liked intervals and Pliny to a lesser degree, because I think Pliny's getting really like cool and experimental with his music. But like intervals is, I mean, when I've broken down the songs to teach like composition to students and stuff, it's literally like a pop song, but dressed up in a progressive rock.
That's what a lot of them are, yeah.
because it's that everything starts with an intro and hops into a verse and then has a chorus, and then it's verse 2 with like a slightly different melody over the same kind of chord progression. And the chords are never like that involved. They're usually quite diatonic progressions, but the spice and the sugar and all that good stuff is mainly from like the instrumentation and how intricate the parts are and how well performed the parts are. Like Jacob, the bass player, is a fucking nutter on bass, so he's always doing something mad. And obviously Aaron is very talented at guitar.
Bit crazy,
yeah, a little bit. He's all right. No, he's sick. So that when it all comes together, I think it becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Not to say that the songs are simple, but it's just,
I know what you mean.
It's just to remind people that to write progressive music, it doesn't have to be a 1916 bar followed by a 1516 bar followed by 0 melodies and mad drum fills. They have their place. They certainly do, but I think it needs to be controlled better than what I hear some people do, because I like to use the term some people's music is a bit like a riff salad.
Yeah,
it's just
heard
like
that one. Yeah,
it's just like riff, different riff. I've never heard that riff before. Riff, and then the song ends, and then you put the next song on, and it's like, right, 5 more riffs just following each other, and it needs, I would say, Protest the Hero or a little bit like that, not to cast any shade.
You can have your opinions.
But I think what works for them is the fact that they have vocals and such a strong melodic direction with that they can get away with doing mental riffs, because they do have choruses with a strong melodic hook. Whereas if you take vocals away, then I think people forget the fact that they're losing the main draw of what the people like about the music. And you'll always get the minority that think that like, oh, give us instrumentals of like the Periphery album. But I think when you strip back the songs are written for vocals at the end of the day. So writing for instrumental music, you have to be very careful and include melodies, and you have to be a lot more careful with your textural ideas and how the composition flows as a whole, rather than just having, Dream Theater did this mad instrumental bit in one of their 15-minute songs, so I'm just going to write a mad instrumental bit and call it prog. Like, yeah, okay, cool, but like, why am I going to go back and listen to that thing again? Probably not, because I can't even, I can't even sing back a melody. But the biggest test that you can do is I can put like one of Pliny's songs on and play Every Piece Matters. And my partner Zoe, she'll be singing the melody because she's just heard it. And that's how you know, like, that's a strong melody. And he repeats it like 5 or 6 times throughout the song. Yeah, it's still prog, like it's still instrumental prog, whatever you want to call it. But it's at the foundation, it's a lot simpler than meets the eye. Like he's even said as much in a few of his like YouTube lessons that he's done with Guitar World or whatever, Anyway, rant over.
No, that's cool. I think one thing I think, sort of picking up on what you're saying, I think and I won't steal too much of your time, but I think it's because of the I think everyone is a little bit afraid to say if they don't like a particular type of music. Like, of course, don't be mean. Like, there are loads of bands that I don't really like. It doesn't mean I think they're bad, and even if I did think they would, if I literally thought they were bad, I'd never say that in that way.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I feel like I hear people saying, you can ask them about any band and they'll be like, oh, amazing. You're like, yeah, you seem to think every band's amazing at the moment. Like, this is interesting. I think there's got, I think people are a little bit afraid to have opinions on, because they don't kind of want to be like, I don't really know what it is. You don't want to be the bad guy, do you? You don't want to go like, oh, this band sucks, and then you don't want to build a bad relationship. But there are plenty of bands that I don't like. I think you can I remember I was watching it was Rob Flynn interview. I mean, Rob Flynn's not got the best reputation, but he was interviewing Mark Tremonti, and he said straight to his face, he's like, I didn't really like Alter Bridge that much, but which I thought was a bit bold, saying it to the person. But he did it in kind of a somewhat, I don't want to say graceful way, but it was just him being honest. He was interested in talking to Mark, and he liked Tremonti, the solo project, but he just he quite politely just said, it's not really for me. And I think you need to have a bit of that difference in, in opinion. It makes what makes things interesting in some ways,
Yeah.
you know.
No,
So
you're right. It's one of them, like, I love listening to music and all that good stuff, but I really respect an artist who isn't afraid to like push boundaries, which is why like I like people like David Maxim Michik, and I like Devin Townsend, and
Devin's awesome.
yeah, he's not afraid to tell you how he feels, which sounds like a bit of a vague statement, but like if he sounds angry, the instrumentation and his vocal performance sounds angry, and if he's sounding vulnerable and scared, then his music sounds that way. Like that's why he has all these like weird and wacky songs, because he's one of those artists who's like an artist in a true form. Like he's not afraid to change things up. He's not afraid to you know, if he feels like a project's run its course, he's not afraid to change it up, which is what happened with his band. You know, he felt like Transcendence was like the last album that they should do together, and there it is. That's the last album they've done. Yeah, I just think like the point I think I'm trying to make is that everyone has access these days to basically a music studio on your laptop. So I think we're seeing like it's like quite a saturated scene now, because everyone's got the best guitar tone because Neural DSP exists, and everyone's got the best drums because Get Good Drums exist, and everyone can mix and master because like the Logic stock plugins are good enough, or whatever stock plugins are good enough to master now. So I think we're seeing a lot of music that I really don't know how to describe it, but it's being made because it can be made.
Yeah. Or would you say not because it necessarily should?
Yeah, you know? Like I think just because you can write a mental 17/16 riff or do whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that like it's a good piece of music. I think I don't know if I'm describing this well.
I know what you're trying. I do know. I think I know what you're trying to say. It's kind of, it is when you've got all the tools at your fingertips. In theory, you should be able to turn out kind of. In theory, it's like, well, you should be turning out top quality music, but actually, it doesn't change the quality of what you're writing. It just I hate to say it's sort of polishing a turd if you're not writing good music. You know, it is literally doing that. It's making. It can perhaps disguise people sort of not putting as much thought into it as maybe you can and should for things, because you could write there's a lot of riffs where, for me personally, where if they I try not to rely on the old open string too much, because you can just go and like it sounds slamming with just like a 4 on the floor drum beat and a well produced, like you can get your head bobbing, because it's just like it's it happens in every genre in some way or another. I think there are the cliches, and it's because of the way modern production works. You can put that in a song and it will just be like, whoa, that was huge. And you're like, what did he do? Oh, he just kind of went blah 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 blah, and that was about it. So I think trying to find your niche when in theory all of this stuff should help you. If anything, sometimes it kind of hinders you, because you think you maybe sound better than you do, because you're hearing something a lot closer to what a produced song would sound like, when realistically a lot of these guys 20 years ago, they had to make it sound good on their shitty little bedroom amp, you know, or call it like 30 years ago, you know, like 80s, 90s. It had to sound good in the rehearsal room or like in the bedroom. Whereas like here, I can make anything sound half decent with GGD, the neural stuff. I use neural for, because like as much as I love my amp, it's not really that practical to use in here, and I've not got the captor or anything. So it can definitely hold you back, I think. And sometimes, I want to go on a little writing retreat at some point and just take a little Yamaha practice amp. I'm tempted not even to bring my laptop and just to record, just do voice notes, just like record it that way.
That is a good idea. It's generally how I do stuff as well. Like I will, and I've written some of the ideas recently where I've actually been writing on acoustic and then translated to electric. And I've also just been writing some acoustic music with using my 12 string in Dadgad, which I've never done before. Same with my 6 string.
You're mellowing out.
I know it's bad. It's actually bad. But no, just to round out the point, I think you summed up better than I did.
So
It's just it's Zoe always says a phrase like, sometimes you risk, like, you have all the gear but no idea.
yeah,
And because it is so easy to get a decently powerful laptop these days and get good drums and buy submission audio bass and buy a neural plugin, you can sound as good as every record of the last 20 years for modern metal. But what I think because I've received like quite a lot of like guest solo requests and stuff, and I've done quite a lot of them in the past.
Mm.
And you get to really hear like what a lot of like small artists are writing and like the music they're writing. And some of it is good, and then some of it like isn't as good, but because they have the power to still make it, like there's not as many like brick walls in the way anymore. Like you don't have to get spotted by the person at the pub who knows the guy in the studio who can get you a recording deal. It's like you just need a laptop and a bit of money, and you can record, and you can buy the cheapest thing on DistroKid.
DistroKid does sound like the Poundland version of DistroKid.
Yeah, quid.
You might need to start that.
Yeah,
DistroKid, get everything online for a quid.
I might actually do that.
You might be bankrupt.
Yeah, but it's so easy. Like in one sense, that's amazing because it means people like me can do stuff that I am doing, and then I just think on the other hand, is it a double-edged sword? Because like the market is as saturated. I don't know. It's probably the most saturated it has been because every person can release a song now. It's not just the people that get picked because they're the best anymore. It's something I'm not sure how to feel about now that I'm talking about it more.
I know what you mean, because it's more opportunities, but then it's like, sometimes the lack of opportunity forces, and it means you've got to work that much harder to be noticed. You know, if you're relying on being noticed, you've actually got to really turn out high quality stuff. It doesn't really matter how much well, it does to an extent. You've got to write consistently enough, but like it's more about the quality of what you do, how you perform it live, and how it's received by others. Obviously, a like doesn't equate to being received well necessarily. It just equates to someone acknowledging that they've seen it.
Just
and
double tapping a video.
How many times do you? Like I've liked stuff, and I thought, just like it.
Yeah, I've not. That's the thing, and the other thing is like, I don't think people even realize this, but like, getting good at recording is completely different to playing guitar. Like, because as soon as you'll know the same as me. Recording that simple riff that we were talking about before, like just that 4 on the floor chug, semi-quavers or whatever, like the simplest thing of getting every single one of those semi-quavers in time on the grid and tight. The amount of times, like I say, like I've received songs of like people check out my song, like like the guitar will be intonated badly, the riff won't be like tight with the drums, it'll be out of tune anyway, and then it's yeah, I need to think about it more, but like just because you can do something doesn't mean like you definitely should. But I don't want to sound too harsh either.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a difficult one to kind of balance because there are so many more opportunities. It's the same argument with things like Spotify versus record, like CDs. It's like there are more opportunities now, but which is great for the people that maybe never got spotted. And it's also not so great because it is a saturated market, like you said. I mean, I can't remember how long, in terms of listening to all the music on Spotify, I think you'd have to listen to it like at a certain speed above listening speed for however many, probably thousands or millions of years. And it would still be catching up with you because people release music so frequently. I just wish the other band Insurgent would stop releasing music. Actually, it's a DJ. It's not a band, which makes it like a little more distinguishable. But no, at least you haven't got any other Connor Kaminskis on. I'm guessing on Spotify.
I think I am. I think I'm the only one. I think.
Are there any other on Facebook?
I don't even know. I honestly I don't even go on Facebook that much anymore.
That's a good thing.
I know. I think Facebook's like. It's definitely in a decline. I think it's
maybe. I think it's Instagram's more immediate, isn't it? And I think that's possibly where things are going.
It's just it's just a bit. It's a nicer place, I think, than Facebook. Like
Yeah,
Facebook, you just get angry people because they can be angry very easily.
yeah.
It just, I don't know. And then I don't even mess with Twitter.
No, I don't touch Twitter, and I can't be. Well, that seems even worse.
Yeah, Twitter is just a cesspool, isn't it? Really,
It really does seem it.
It's just like you've definitely got something better to do, mate. Come on.
Well, that's
And
the thing.
then-
Maybe you don't.
Yeah, no, that is actually a fair point. Maybe they don't have anything else to do.
Should, but don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'll have to show you Twitch because it's well worth. It's much more wholesome and like it's real. People, it's very community driven. I feel. I hope creative things start to go that way. Again, I hope it doesn't just become too oversaturated, and then it will turn out a bit more like. Content,
yeah,
but...
I think you're right. It won't, because the barrier of entry is literally like, it's like a mash of like, how do you even set up everything?
Yeah, it's a bigger barrier to entry, I think.
Yeah, but I watched lots on Twitch and stuff, and part of me would love to kind of like play video games and guitar and have like a hybrid stream, but I don't know if that's like, in terms of like overarching goals for the year, I don't know if that's maybe like a 2023 goal. Because I think I need to suss the whole live music thing first and figure out what I'm doing with releasing music.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah. So what's, if you could, you've already talked about it a bit, but sort of to sum up, what's the future looking like? Anything you want to kind of plug or talk about or hint at?
Well, the song that I've got, if all things go well, should have saxophone on it.
Wicked.
And because I've heard a lot of like metal tracks and prog tracks that have a saxophone solo in it, which is cool. But I really want to have saxophone throughout the entire piece, like playing alongside the guitar, harmonizing with the riffs and all that kind of shit, just to kind of see how it sounds. And in theory, it should sound pretty cool. So that's the next thing, I think, is to release that song. I need to remember how to play it, because I did genuinely record it like a year ago, and it sounds really cool. It sounds really cool. I'll actually send it you, because
I want to have a listen. Yeah, send it over.
It's got real drums, real bass. Actually,
do you play the bass, or did you get someone else?
No, I got someone who can actually play the bass, not
Wicked.
me. Although I would love to have a go. I might get myself a Strandberg bass and see what that's all about. Yeah, they are cool. And then, so yeah, I'll send that over. Other stuff for me is just to kind of keep on top of like the whole social media stuff, and probably release a couple more packs with JTC, because
that'd be cool.
The latest one was really well received, so it'd be nice to kind of do maybe more like how I go about like the whole riff writing thing in a lot more detail, because I kind of glossed over it because I had to in my latest masterclass, because it was more about the whole picture. But I'd love to zoom in on like how to do like modern riffs, like just it doesn't have to be prog, but just like modern riff writing. I
always add your JTC things to my library. I mean, I have a membership and I don't go on it anywhere near as much as I should. But I always add your shit to my library. I'm busy looking at the bluesy stuff, because I it's so easy to get, I don't want to say distracted by metal, but like, because I'm a metalhead, it's like I like to learn the bluesy stuff, because it just keeps, and I'm not really well versed in that. So
I'm definitely with you, because one of the other things I want to do this year is I want to start playing jazz with Zoe, because Zoe's more of like a classical musician. Well, not more of, she is a classically trained musician, and she can sight read and do all that good stuff that I can't do. And I'd really love to be able to like just do some jazz standards, like do the chords and all that, but like read the chart, because I'm really bad at it. And I think that's one of our plans, to just play a few small jazz clubs around the area, and it'd be something cool for us. Yeah, something cool for us to try, just as a duo at first, and see how it goes. Then anything else is just a bonus, really. I'm not sure how feasible playing any of my music live is, because I don't know. I'm gonna have to pick your brain about that as well, because I have no idea how to get into it. So
I think you could. I reckon if you got together with if you were to get together with a few of the musicians in the UK, you know, ideally who are obviously excellent players and have a somewhat decent following between them, you could probably book a few venues around. You know, you book local supports, or you can contact promoters and stuff, and get on board with that, and then do like a mini, I don't know, do like 4 or 5 day tour or something. Try that.
I know. Yeah, I know. I just you're right. I don't even know how any of it works. Like, I've never even booked a gig in my whole life.
I don't think a lot of promoters know how any of it works, to be honest.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, like the dream of mine is to just like this super naive dream of just like releasing music and then eventually just like get asked to support like a bigger artist. And I don't know if that's a completely silly dream.
Don't think so.
I just don't really have any clue about how to go about it. Because this is what I know, the old, you know, home studio.
Yeah.
So it'd be out of my comfort zone for sure. But I think the easiest thing to do is to get into that playing live is actually the jazz thing that I was saying. Because it'd be small scale, get me playing live again. And then it'd just be, you know, something cool to do. And then maybe, you know, jump into doing my own stuff on a bigger scale and then seeing where it takes me, and then releasing singles as I go. But yeah,
I'm excited to see it.
That's probably the plan.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, like we have a bit of a band plan. I don't want to reveal too much on the podcast. It's not massively, it is exciting, but like it's not like top secret, but
yeah,
you never know, something cool might come up that. So yeah, anyway, I won't, but yeah, I mean, thank you for chatting all things really. Kind of always.
It's all good.
It's nice to chat about things outside of music, or just less about, you know, like you said, what gauge string you're using. It's like anyone could ask you that at any point. So I think it's nice to try and delve into what you think about things.
Yeah. No,
what you think about strings.
yeah, exactly. No, and it seems like the whole band thing you've got going on as well is going quite well. Like,
seems to be. Yeah, we're a bit quiet at the moment because we're going to get we're going to do some more music this year. That's the plan, basically. Got some stuff written. I'll show you a little bit before we go in a second.
Yeah.
See what you think. But yeah, it's exciting. I'll let you know if we're up your way. East your way. We are playing Nottingham.
Oh, nice. Which venue do you know?
Tap and Tumbler, I think.
Ooh,
I think it's a free entry place. So
you might see me then.
Come along. See me. Yeah. Wicked. Well, I will leave it at that. You've had your chance to plug.
I don't have anything to plug.
That's all right. People know where to check you out and that. So thank you again, and have a good day, and I'll catch you soon.
Man. Yeah,
Wicked.
No worries.